If every types of people was in a video game, what would their stats be? Let's start out
with the blacks.
HP, low. Turns out not having great access to healthcare means you don't live as long. Buffs, Johnson size. Debuffs, credit score, and fat white women. Strength, I'm gonna say pretty high. Speed, high, but not high enough to escape their masters, apparently. Resistance, awkwardness. Black people are just born with a certain level of swag and have maxed out their support levels. IQ, low. And don't blame me, you're the one skipping school. Sure, you come from a single-parent household with a father in prison and teachers who don't want to put in the effort, but not getting good grades is still your fault. Oh, well, I'm smart. Okay, here's a math problem. You have $250. The stock market goes up an average of 7.5% a year. How much money do you have at the end of the year? The answer is nothing, because you spent it on a new pair of Jordans. Endurance, incredible. I mean, they literally built America. Luck, terrible. To go from slavery to segregation to finally getting your own Band-Aid color is pretty unlucky. Stealth, depends. In daytime, it's terrible, but nighttime, it's max. The only thing you'll see is floating Sauron eyes with an occasional puff from a Newport. Special ability, better at all sports. Have you seen the top 20 basketball players? It's black eye, black eye, black eye, black eye, black eye, black eye, random outlier, black eye, black eye, black eye. Next up, Asians. HP, massive. In the United States, they have the highest life expectancy. Probably because dying isn't nearly as bad as bringing your family shame. Debuffs, sorry Asians, God did you dirty in the Johnson department. Buffs, luckily to balance it out, he made every Asian child size. Strength, in relation to body weight, high. Compared to any black person, low. Speed, average. Unless it's a hot dog eating contest. Then they're an expert in farming. Resistance, proud parents. IQ, Asians are close to maxing out their IQ. I guess having your teacher beat you with a rod, then having your parents beat you with the same rod, is a good way to increase work ethic. Happiness might exist if they had Christmas. You know why Asian kids don't believe in Santa? Because they're the ones making the toys! Endurance, very high. Working in a sweatshop is hard, and I should know because I've walked a mile in their shoes. Luck, average, which isn't surprising considering most of them are bots. Special ability, invisibility. I don't even know why ninjas wear masks when you can just back up 10 feet into a crowd and completely disappear. Next up, whites. HP, above average. Buffs, jab applications. Debuffs, a girlfriend with no gag reflex. Strength, physically average. Strength in dominating other countries, max. Speed, like kids on Adderall, high. Resistance, accountability. IQ, average, as we have the smartest and dumbest people out there. I can't even believe Einstein and Vin Diesel are the same species. Happiness, low. You think it'd be high considering we conquer the world, but with every technological advancement, we just invent new ways to get depressed. Like my magic phone keeps buffering Django Unchained. Ugh, now I know what being a slave feels like. Endurance, average. Luck, max. Aside from being a man in a first world country, you can't get much luckier than being white. Special ability, winning. White people are like a DLC character that's just better than the rest of the cast. Don't believe me? Go to any museum and check out our KD ratio. Next up, Japanese. HP, well, they have one of the high suicide rates, so very low. Buffs, tentacle porn. Debuffs, Godzilla! Strength, pretty high, probably because they have a small hitbox. Speed, above average, unless it involves their Nezuko body pillow, then it's feverish. Resistance, big titties. IQ, very high. Japan is on the forefront of technology. They got bullet trains, bidets in every hotel, and there's spots that don't judge you. This doesn't normally happen to me.
There, you tried your best. Would you like me to eat your butt now?
Yeah. Happiness, pretty low, unless you get lucky and have 2 used panties dropped from the vending machine. Endurance, very high. 2 nuclear bombs prove they're good at tanking. Luck, horrible. If you're a girl, you've probably been groped on a train. And if you're a guy, you can't even grope someone without them complaining. Special ability, if you put an unsolved Rubik's Cube in a Japanese woman's... Sorry, this one's really stupid. Okay. If you put an unsolved Rubik's Cube in a Japanese woman's cooter and it comes back solved, she's pregnant. Next up, Koreans. HP, well, their life expectancy is around 83, so very high. Buffs, Gundam style, and BBQ. Debuffs, driving. Strength, it's hard to tell because all the characters use the same skin. Speed, need for. Resistance, feeling loved. IQ, very high. Koreans tend to excel at math. Probably because their dog can never eat their homework. Happiness, Koreans have maxed out their sadness. In America, we're great at ending each other, but South Korea, they're great at ending themselves. Koreans have the highest self-slaughter rate, which might be because of their parents. Korean parents are born with disappointment in their children, which is a great motivator if you want your kid to become a CEO, so he can jump from a higher window. Endurance, very high. Every other week, their next-door neighbor threatens them with nuclear warfare, and yet they still find a way to dance to shit music. Luck, low. This is considered sexy in South Korea. The dude looks like a big toe that wished he became a person, then decided to have a sex change. Special ability, can lower their frame rate when dancing. Next up, Mexican. HP, above average. Buffs, manual labor. Debuffs, paying taxes. Strength, high. Cockfighting taught them to go for the jugular. Speed, very high. Can complete any construction project in half the time of a white person. Resistance, birth control. IQ, low. If they were smart, they'd kidnap their racist farm owners, unionize, pool their money together, buy the farm they're originally working on, then hire another poor race to do the work. Happiness, pretty high, which is surprising considering they spend most of the game completing escort missions. Endurance, max. You ever seen a Mexican not hustling? You can call them drug dealers, criminals, bums, and they'd still be like, si senor, so the whole lawn and the hedges? Luck, terrible. You're so close to America, and yet so far. Special ability, border crossing. Next up, Indian. HP, well, they believe in reincarnation, so I guess that means they max out their HP. Once it goes to 0, the game just resets with a new character. Buffs, Krishna. Debuffs, reality. Strength, it's gotta be high if they can drink their water and not instantly get diarrhea. Speed, slow. Too many people are playing Train Simulator, causing it to lag. Resistance, spicy foods. IQ, average. They recently landed a rocket on the moon, and yet half their population can't even spell rocket. Happiness, low. There's no such thing as your own room in India. Just a spot on the ground. Endurance? Well, if we're talking about keeping their wife in check, then it'd be max. Luck? Very low. India is one of the most densely populated places on the planet, and they only have like 7 toilets. Special ability can respawn with a different character. Next up, Native Americans, who are in desperate need for a buff. Their HP is very low. They have the worst life expectancy out of all the races. Probably because a shaman shaking maracas doesn't help cure cancer. Buffs, peace pipes. Debuffs, spawn camping. Hey, what are you doing on my land? Strength, low. You know what beats a bow and arrow? Any gun. Speed, very low. Which would you rather, 1 horsepower or 640? Resistance, fast travel. IQ, low. If Pocahontas was smart, she would have blown her way to the top. Honey pot the enemy into revealing some of their war plans. But instead, she was too busy getting her clam wet, as her people were the ones actually getting f***ed. Happiness? Depends how good my trip is. Endurance, very low. I'm pretty sure there's only like 14 left. Luck, low. That dream catcher isn't preventing nightmares. It's making you live one. And special ability, obviously, tax-free land. Next up, Muslim. HP, depends if they're wearing the vest or not. Buffs, oppression. Debuffs, equality. Strength, very high. Praying 5 times a day to someone who doesn't let you taste sin is next level devotion. Speed, low. That camel isn't beating my horse. Resistance, Christmas spirit. IQ, very high. Convincing half the population they're an NPC is really quite insightful. Happiness, well, if you're a man, high. If you're a woman, then you better hide those ankles. Endurance, max. Fasting while it's 112 degrees outside really builds your tolerance to neglect. Luck, sir, you've been randomly selected for additional screening. And special ability can speedrun their way to another dimension. Next up, Irish. HP, low. The liver can only take so many critical hits. Buffs, storytelling. Debuffs, alone time with Father Cunningham. Strength at holding me down, max. Speed, low. Hard to outrun your problems when you're sitting at a bar. Resistance, therapy. IQ, low. Maybe if you stop believing in genies, you'd stop asking for wishes. Happiness, low. Hard to feel special when your child's 6 of 9. Endurance, high. Survive potato famine, war, and inbreeding. Luck, low. A 4-leaf clover isn't gonna make her bend over. And special ability, being a white immigrant. Next up, Italian. HP, very high. Apparently talking with your hands is good cardio. Buffs, gaudy jewelry. Debuffs, controlling their temper. Strength, +10 every time someone mentions family. Speed, Jesus, do they even have traffic laws here? Resistance, shame. A wife beater isn't a shirt, and kissing your mom on the lips is gross. IQ, high. Figured out a way to monetize bad engineering. Happiness, high. Hard to be sad when you have a Vespa, some wine, and a mistress. Endurance, low. Are easily triggered by pineapple on pizza. Luck, moderate. Their pasta isn't greasy, but their reflection sure is. And special ability, culinary enchantment. Any meal they make adds +20 happiness. Next up, British. HP, average. Strengthened by sarcasm, weakened by hugs. Buffs, accent. Debuffs, hearing the word reparations. Strength, high. It takes strong willpower to eat their bland food. Speed, high. Probably because they're always running from their feelings. Resistance, compliments. IQ, very high. Brilliant at figuring out how to exploit others. Happiness, very low. Anytime one of them smiles, someone will say, "Oi, look at this over here." Endurance, high. Decades of rain and bad weather have made them impermeable to emotional attacks. Luck, average. Lost their empire, but somehow kept a Commonwealth as a consolation prize. And special ability, Imperial Kirby. Can absorb abilities from other cultures. Next up, Jewish. HP, low. Turns out anxiety doesn't help your immune system. Buffs, negotiating. Debuffs, side profile pics. Strength, comedy. Turn generational trauma into stand-up gold. Speed, average. Quick when they smell a sale, slow to pick up the check. Resistance, tipping over 10%. IQ, low. 40 years of roaming the desert and not one of you said, "I don't think this Moses cat knows where he's going." Happiness, very low. A Jewish mother can make you feel bad about something you didn't even do. Endurance, max. They're borderline unkillable. Poverty, plague, camps, nothing seems to work. Luck, terrible. On top of being history scapegoat, again, side profile, not the greatest. And special ability, passive irritant. Who uses the urinal next to someone when there's clearly other options available?
What?
You don't pee next to someone unless it's the last option, okay? It's Monday, Friday, Wednesday, and if those are taken, you slip into Tuesday or Thursday.
What does it matter?
This isn't a team-building activity, okay? And if you must know, I got a little bit of a shy bladder.
Just pretend I'm not here.
Well, your arm rubbing up against me isn't helping my stream.
It's a public restroom. I'm allowed to use whatever urinal I want.
You had the end spot. That's prime real estate. But instead, you decided to stand shoulder to shoulder?
How about we just go back to ignoring each other?
Fine. Do you really have to moan? So after crunching the numbers, I can safely say that people with the best stats are, drumroll, the whites. Obviously, we always win. Sure, other stats might be better, but there's no patch notes for how broken we are. So that's my vid on which race types of people have the best stats. Probably a little different from some of the other content you've seen on YouTube, and that's for two reasons. One, because most people are talentless bitches, and two, because they're afraid. Afraid of trying something new. Afraid of getting canceled. Afraid of seeing a green icon turn into a yellow icon! But greatness doesn't come from playing it safe, it comes from taking chances. And if you want to make generic 8-minute vids, copying or reacting to other people's ideas in an attempt to give handies to the algo, then you do you. But your boy just can't do that. When I hear an idea like which streamers are bottoms or Drake Dating Simulator, I just feel compelled to finger bang it into existence. However, this comes at a cost, and that cost being money. Now sure, I could go the Tapman route and sell drugs to kids, but I'd rather do something a little less soulless. So if you want to support your boy, then subscribe to my brand new compilation channel, Offending All Day, where I can spend all day thrusting my ignorance in you. You know what you want to do. Oh, you want to push that subscribe button. Oh, push the button. Push the button.